Didik TV KPM.
I'm going to try to answer this latest format. Oh, well, I don't really understand this part. Wait, let me check. How?
Hi Nisa,
Oh, hi, Mr. Naim.
what are you up to?
Well, I'm trying to answer the latest format for the exam, but it seems that I cannot understand this particular part. I'm really struggling here, Mr. Naim.
Oh, is that so? Well, you know what Nisa? Since I'm here, I think I can help you with this and explain each and every questions of the new format.
Oh, I'm relieved. That's great. Let's go. Thank you so much, Mr. Naim.
All
I'm
right.
so ready to learn about the new format. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Hi everybody. You are watching Didik TV KPM. My name is Nisa K and I'll be with you guys for this special 1-hour session. But before anything else, I would like to remind you of these 3 important things. What are they? The first one is to always wear face mask when you are outside or wherever you are. Number 2, maintain physical distance at least 1 meter or more. And number 3, don't forget to always wash your hands using water and soap or use hand sanitizer when needed. Okay, my fellow candidates of SPM 2021, this is a special episode for you guys because this is where you will be equipped with all the informations you will need for the latest and new format of SPM 2021, especially in the English paper. Let's welcome our special guest for today. We have Encik Ahmad Naimullah Rozilat and Puan Alawiah Mohd Hussain, both from Pegawai Lembaga Peperiksaan Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. Hi, welcome to Didik TV, Puan Alawiah and Mr. Encik Naim. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
A little bit nervous, I believe.
Yeah.
No worries, no worries. If you guys are nervous, I'll be nervous as well. But no worries. Today, we are going to share so much information for our beloved students. And I would like to ask regarding our format, the new and latest format of SPM 2021. So what are the new things that we can expect from the latest and new format? Puan Alawiah?
Okay, the most obvious difference will be for this new format starting 2021 is we are going to test on your abilities based on the 4 skills. Before this, we only had 2 papers, but now we have 4 papers. And they are reading, writing, speaking and listening.
That's interesting because it doubles up the amount of the papers that they need to answer. Mr. Naim, anything to add?
Yeah, I would like to add that on top of that, this exam is also aligned to the Common European Framework of Reference, CEFR. And especially for SPM itself, it is set at the B1 and B2 levels.
Okay, I hope our students at home, they are all ready for this session because we will be giving and share with you guys all the important information related to the latest and new SPM 2021 format for English paper. I believe that they can do it well, but they need to understand what they are going to face during the examination that will happen in a few months left. I think around March 2022.
Yeah.
Maybe around
For
that time.
speaking, we'll start earlier. Probably in February.
Okay. I hope they are all ready. But before that, let's take a break. I'll see you guys after this in Sukses SPM 2021 on Didik TV KPM.
Didik TV KPM.
Welcome back to Didik TV KPM, a special episode of Sukses SPM 2021 where we have special guests to share with you, fellow pupils, candidates of SPM 2021 English paper, all the information you need for this new and latest format. But before we start, I would like to invite Encik Naim to sanitize your hands. And with me, I have my own pocket size hand sanitizer as well, because it's easier that way. And we need to maintain our physical distance here in the studio. Okay. I believe people at home, they are all ready with all the things that they need, such as paper or notebook and pen to jot down everything they need to know for this session of the latest new format SPM 2021. I think we shall begin. Mr. Naim, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. And I'm going to start straight away. So, hello everyone. So today we will be looking at the new SPM English language format. Okay, as you mentioned before just now. So we have 4 skills that comes in 4 papers, which is reading and use of English, writing, speaking, and listening. So what is new, like we've mentioned before just now as well, that this exam is actually aligned to the Common European Framework of Reference, also known as the CEFR, and this SPM is actually set at B1 and B2 levels. Okay, Nisa?
Okay. You may start with the slides, Mr. Naim.
I'm going to start straight away. Okay, but before that, let's talk a bit about the subject aims of the English curriculum. And we have our subject aims here, which is, there are 4 actually. The first one is actually to communicate competently and confidently. And then the second one is to be well-versed in the emergent literacy. And then the next one is to decide or making decisions through critical and analytical thinking. And the last one is to collaborate when it comes to solving problems. Okay, the subject objectives, there are 9 actually. This is from the DSKP itself, Nisa.
Okay.
Number 1 is understand meaning. Number 2 is recognize features of spoken genres. Number 3 is to communicate information. Number 4, use different strategies to construct meaning. Number 5, to explore and expand ideas. Number 6, to respond to different literary texts. Number 7, to communicate through print and digital media. Number 8, to communicate with correct language forms, style and functions. And to number 9 is to appreciate and inculcate values. That is the subject objectives. And now we go to the assessment objectives. This is where some of the foundations where we actually design our assessment. And this is where we also derive from the DSKP, where we test the pupil's ability to correspond and collaborate. That's number 1. And number 2 is to understand and process information. Number 3, to use information in spoken and written form. So as you can see, we've highlighted the spoken there because we now have the speaking skills. And number 4 is to respond to text. Number 5, to be creative and imaginative. And the last one is to use the grammar knowledge effectively. So that is the assessment objective. Now, so this is what is all about the SPM English language format. As we mentioned just now, we have 4 skills, which comes in 4 papers. Paper 1 is reading and use of English. Paper 2 is writing. Paper 3 is speaking. And paper 4 is listening. As you can see here from the slides, that there are different marks, but they are actually given equal importance because it contributes to 25% of the overall marks. Okay, as I've said just now, it's B1 and B2 levels, although we report the performance from A2 to C1. Okay?
Right.
So now we are going to talk about the reading and use of English paper, which is the paper 1. Okay? So there are 40 questions. 40 questions across the 5 parts. And this paper lasts around 90 minutes. And like the rest of the paper, it is set at B1 and B2 levels. And please note that the pupils need to mark their answers in the OMR form. So I have here with me now the new OMR form, which is designed specifically for this new format.
Yes, it looks...
As you can see, we used to have all these multiple choice questions, but now we have the blanks. Okay, we have the blanks where they need to write the words and the phrases for each questions.
Oh,
okay. So this is how it looks like lah.
Very different to what I had previously.
Yeah, back
many,
when
many
you were
years
in
ago.
school, right? Isn't it? Okay. Okay. Now going straight away to part 1. Okay. So part 1, there are 8 questions.
Okay.
Which comes in a form of short text. Okay. So this short text, you can expect around 80 words. Okay, for each of the short text, and it comes with 3 option multiple choice questions. Okay, so now let's look at the sample task. Okay, so the sample task here we have notice, but please note that the questions might also come in the form of a text message or advertisement.
Okay.
So it should be either these 3: notice, advertisement, or text messages. So now I'm showing the notice one. As you can see, there are only 3 options.
Yes.
Okay, for part 1, and the number of words there should not be more than 90 words. This is part 1. Okay, we're moving to part 2. Okay, part 2 we have the 4 option multiple choice close. Okay, close text. A closed text is actually a text where there are certain portion of language or phrases or words are removed. Okay, so there will be blanks. There will be blanks in the text, and the blanks are actually 10 gaps lah. Okay, so it represents 10 questions, and you can expect to have one longer text of around 250 words.
Oh.
Okay, so this is part 2. So now let's look at the sample task. Okay, we have the sample task here. Okay, so as you can see, there are also an example showed in the sample task, and mind you, there's only 2 questions here, but the actual task should be comprises of 10 questions.
10 questions, okay.
Okay, for part 3, we have also 4 option MCQ, and again, this is also an extended text with 8 questions.
Oh.
Okay. This is where you can expect a more longer text. Okay. And then there will be around 5 to 6 paragraphs, maybe 6 paragraphs, and the number of words are around 650 and to 700 words. Okay. So in this part of questions, we can actually try to understand the text, and this is where the pupils will use the different reading strategies. Different reading strategies. So this is where you can actually apply the skills of skimming and scanning, where you look for main details and specific details. Okay, for part 3, these are the questions. We have 4 options there. And then part 4, there will be a gap text. Okay, so the gap text is actually where the 6 sentences have been removed, and the student or the pupils have to actually guess where the sentences were originally placed in the text. So there will be 6 questions and 1 extended text here. Okay, so this is the questions. Okay, a camp for future leaders, and I'm going to show you as well the options. Okay, what is unique about this is, although we only have 6 questions, but we also added in 2 more distractors, or 2 more other sentences to work as distractors to make, you know, the task a bit difficult.
Yes.
Okay, so they have to really understand the text and get the meaning correct.
Okay.
Okay, the last part, which is part 5, is actually a combination of several tasks where you have matching, you have information transfer, you have note completion, or you can also have short answers questions. Okay, there will be 8 questions and 1 extended text. Okay, you can expect actually the text to be around 350 words. Yeah. Okay, this is the questions, Nisa. as you can see, there are two types of tasks mixed together. Questions number 33 to 36 is where we can actually find out the paragraph. Okay, the paragraph of the idea, where it comes from. And the text itself is actually about 16s sharing their community service experience.
Okay.
So questions number 33 to 36 is where they find the purpose of the text, the main details and the main idea. And whereas for questions number 37 to 40, it's where they need to look for correct or accurate or exact words that need to come from the text.
From the text, okay.
Okay. So these are all questions and sample tasks from the reading paper, or we call it reading and use of English paper. And now I'm going to explain to you about the writing paper, which is the paper 2.
All right.
Okay, straight away, there are 5 questions, but there are only 3 parts. The paper should last around 90 minutes as well, set at B1 and B2 levels, and the pupils are expected to write the responses or their essay on the question paper.
The question paper, okay.
So, these questions actually, question 1 is for part 1, question 2 is for part 2, and question 3, 4, 5 is for part 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can expect that the part 1 is, you can expect like being the easiest, and the third part or the final part is the most challenging lah.
Okay.
Okay, this is the example of part 1. Okay, so the pupils or the candidates need to write an email response of about 80 words. Okay, to an it could be email or it could be informal message. Okay, just like that. And then what we need to understand here is before the pupils need start to plan or maybe start to write, they need to identify the key pieces of information. Okay, so as I highlighted here, the 3 key pieces of information are: where shall we go? The first one, that's the first one.
Yes.
What can we do there?
What can we
that's
do?
the second one. And what should we bring?
What should we bring?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the pupils need to really understand that these 3 key pieces of information really need to be included in their response. This is very crucial because before they begin to plan, so that they might be able to produce a relevant response. Okay, so this is part 1.
I can see that the actually things that we need to write in the answer, the one that we highlighted just now. Okay.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's kind of like a keywords.
Yes.
Keywords. Okay.
Okay, now moving on to part 2. This is where the number of responses increases, where they need to write of about 125 to 150 words.
All right.
Okay, so in this particular essay, it's actually it's like a response or text input where they need to highlight the 3 bulleted points given to them in the questions. As you can see there, the 3 bullet points is highlighted there, but they also need to add some of the justifications. Okay, so the 3 bullet points there need to be included, and they also need to write some reasons to support their view for these questions, Nisa. Okay, so this is part 2. And for part 3, there will be 3 questions I've mentioned before, and the 3 questions is actually a choice of between the 3. And the first one we have article. Okay, we have article, and then the second one we have reviews, and then the third one we have story.
Story.
Okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are actually, likes to write stories.
Yes.
But then again, when it comes to certain tasks, we have to understand the language forms, the language styles, or probably the tone, and also other grammatical elements that make the task stand as itself. Like maybe story, for example.
Yes.
Sometimes it needs to be written in past tense because story is actually a recount of experience.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, and then for part 2, for example, for part 2, for the second questions, we have articles.
Yes.
Okay, so here, the pupils need to understand the language register. Okay, for example, there are words that you need to write, or there are words that you need to identify whether it makes an article or probably, you know, a review, like this one. Okay, review is a bit unique because it's more of a speaking from one perspective,
Yes.
Telling people about
Personal thoughts.
telling people about their preferences, okay, what they like or what they dislike about. And this one, I would like to give some tips on how to write reviews. Maybe, for example, a movie review where you can actually include in the response. For example, the first paragraph, they can actually give an introduction about the movie or the film. And then the second paragraph, they can highlight some of the things that they like, or probably some of the you know, positive things that they like about the movie. And then coming to the next paragraph, they can always mention about, you know, things that they dislike, or maybe things that shouldn't be in a problem, and come up with a summary paragraph where they can actually tell people their recommendation, or maybe even not to bother about the movie at all. You know? If the movie is not good.
Yeah, we have our personal preferences. Some people might like something, and we might don't like the same thing that they like.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be that way.
So these are the three parts. The part three, the three questions that consist in part three. So we have again articles, reviews, and story. Okay. So some of the tips that the students can actually use actually to get themselves familiarized with the content. They can probably you know, making some contents or materials and start to practice in class. Okay?
Yes.
And the other thing is, you know what, Nisa? It's reading. You know?
Read a lot.
Yeah, just read, and read. I mean, reading truly does wonders in helping you to get familiarized with the content and get connected with the language
Yes,
itself.
Encik Naim, I have to agree. As a book lover, you read a lot. It will definitely help you in whatever you do outside. Okay, now we have gone through the reading and writing parts. I hope you guys can follow and understand the new format. We are going to the next part after this, but before that, let's take a break. I'll see you guys after this in Sukses SPM 2021 on Didik TV KPM.
Didik TV KPM.
Thank you for those who are still watching Didik TV KPM. This is Sukses SPM 2021, a special episode for our fellow SPM 2021 candidates. Just now, we've gone through the reading and writing part with Encik Naim. Now, we have Puan Alawiah with us to share more regarding speaking and listening part. I'm sorry, Puan Alawiah, I got nervous to have you here. This is an honor for us in Didik TV KPM. But before that, I would like to invite you to sanitize hands first, as I will be sanitizing my hand as well. Okay, now we are ready. Our fellow pupils at home, they are all ready, and I can see that they have their pens and pencil to jot down everything they need to know regarding the speaking and listening part. Okay, over to you, Puan Alawiah.
Thank you, Nisa. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, I'm going to continue with the remaining two components, which are speaking and listening papers. Okay, we're going to start off with the speaking paper. Sorry, now I'm nervous, Nisa. All right, the speaking paper tests on your ability to explain routine activities as well as expressing your opinions on familiar and unfamiliar topics. Okay, so now we will look at the structure of the paper. All right, there are three parts to the paper. Okay, each part requires you to complete a different type of task. Okay, and in total, the paper will last for about 13 minutes, and its main focus is at B1 to B2 levels of the CFR, although it reports your performance from A2 to C1. All right. Okay, as you know, I think you should know by now, the format for this speaking paper is done in pairs. Okay, it means to say that you have to take it face to face. There will be 2 examiners and 2 candidates. Okay, we hope that this will create a more realistic and reliable measure of your ability to communicate in English with your friends. Okay? All right. Next, let's look at part 1. Part 1. It's actually very simple, okay? It lasts for about 2 to 3 minutes, and it's actually an interview session between you and the interlocutor. The person who's sitting next to you, your teacher, is the interlocutor. Okay, the person who is sitting a bit far from you is called the assessor. All right, now, in this part, you will be asked questions individually about yourself and also other familiar topics. For example, about school, home, and also your daily routine. Okay, I'm going to show you the sample questions for part 1. As you can see, there are 2 phases here. When just now I said this part is going to be quite simple, right? This is how simple it is, because in phase 1, they're just going to ask you about your name. And in phase 2, they will ask you questions like, what do you do after you wake up? You know? So again, in part 1, you are not expected to give long answers here, Nisa. They shouldn't be talking a lot about themselves here. We just want them to prepare for the next task. Okay? All right. Now, we want to show you part 1 in action, where you can see the interlocutor interviews candidates.
Let's watch together.
Good morning. I'm Puan Sarlina, and this is my colleague, Puan Nur Eliza. She'll just listen to us. First of all, we'd like to know something about you. Now, I'm going to ask you about your daily routine.
Okay.
All right. See? It's quite simple, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, we move on to the next part, which is part 2. In part 2, you will talk on your own for 1 to 2 minutes on a particular topic based on a written input in a form of a general instruction or maybe content focus prompts, okay? I will show you how it looks like later.
Okay.
But please do know that you are given some time to prepare before you begin speaking, okay? And this part will last for about 3 to 4 minutes for both of you, okay? Right. Here. In the real exam, you will only see your question. But for the purpose of this presentation, I'm showing you both questions. Now, because I want you to pretend to be candidate A,
Okay.
and then your partner is candidate B. Okay. Now, candidate A, which is you, is given a topic by the interlocutor, which should be familiar. For example, in this case, a family celebration. All right? You are given some time to think about the topic, okay? And then you can talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. When I say some time, it means here you are given approximately 20 seconds to prepare. Prepare, Nisa here, by preparing, it means that you are actually planning in your head. You are not supposed to bring any pencil or paper in the hall, in the exam room. Yeah? All right. And then once you finished, your partner, which is candidate B, will be given another set of questions. All right. And then you guys swap roles. All right. As you can see here, the grammar and vocabulary range needed for this part is broader than part 1. Okay? All right. Again, to make it clearer to you, here's part 2 in action.
I'd like you to talk about a family celebration you had recently. First, you have some time to think about what you're going to say. All right? You may start now. Thank you. What was the last celebration you had? Did you have a good time? Why?
Okay.
Okay? All right, now next is part 3, which is the last part of the speaking paper. But there are actually subtasks within part 3 itself. Right. On the whole though, part 3 will have, requires you to discuss and then make a decision together on a particular topic. All right? This part will last for about 4 to 5 minutes. And in this part, you and your partner have to discuss together a topic and then answer some follow-up questions.
Oh.
All right? In doing so, both of you are given about 1 minute each to answer another broadening out question. I'm going to show you later. All right, but first, let's have a look at the sample question for part 3. Can you see it here?
Yes.
Yeah. If you can see, we have the question in the middle of the mind map there. So this is the task that you are supposed to do with your partner. Why do people shop online? So you're supposed to discuss this topic together with your partner. Okay. Remember though, you are not going to be given extra points for speaking more. Because what we want to see here is actually whether or not you're able to contribute equally to the discussion. So I suggest that during the preparation time, which is about 20 seconds again, or maybe a minute, given to you to prepare before you start speaking, you should actually divide the points equally among yourself. All right? So maybe what you can do here is to, for example, if you want to give your opinion on one of the points, so you should actually say something about this, and then you ask your partner a question about your point. Okay, or even you can ask your partner to respond to your ideas, and vice versa. Okay, that's how we want to see the discussion between the two of you.
So it's really not about who talks more and longer.
No, not about this one. Okay? All right, next. All right, we will see part 3 in action.
Online shopping is gaining popularity in our country. Here are some reasons why people shop online and a question for you to discuss. Now, talk to each other about the reasons why people shop online. Now, you have about a minute to decide together which is the most popular reason people shop online.
Okay, so
Alright.
that's how it looks like.
Yes, that's how it looks like. Now, as I mentioned just now, we have another part to part 3, another question to part 3,
Okay.
which we call it as an extension question. Okay, now I would like you to spend a few seconds and let's read the question together.
Okay.
All right. It says there, in what ways does advertising on social media influence people's buying behavior? All right. What do you think the examiner wants to see here? Yes, the examiner will ask you an open-ended question like that, which is related to your task before.
Okay.
But this time, we want to see whether or not you're able to showcase your ability to speak and give your opinions on the question here. Okay. Here, you only are given up to 1 minute to answer. And you might want to know, I think, whether or not the interlocutor is allowed to say anything during this test. Actually, we don't encourage the interlocutor to interrupt, but the interlocutor is allowed to say something if you or your partner are going off the topic, or when she or he notices that you're running out of ideas.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, I'm going to show you sample answers of extension question by our candidates. Just a word of caution though, these candidates have used high vocabulary and performed very well. But that doesn't mean that all of you can't aim to be like them. Okay? Let's have a look.
In my opinion, I think a lot of people find social media as a platform to shop online because platforms like Instagram and Twitter, they often showcase big names like celebrities like Kylie Jenner and everything. And when Kylie Jenner buys a specific product, it helps prompt her audience to be interested in it.
Yes, I do agree with Alia, but I would like to add another point. Nowadays, there are a method of advertising called sponsoring. It's where brands such as makeup brand Maybelline, where they sponsored celebrities or endorsers or influencers, and therefore it can attract their fans and audiences to buy the product that they sponsored.
And that's how it looks like. And I'm quite invested in the answers actually, Puan Alawiah.
Yes, very interesting answers given by our candidates. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So in summary, I think in order for you to be good in this part is actually to try to showcase a range of speaking ability using many of the functions and grammar, and also try to justify your opinions. Okay?
Okay, so I think it's time for us to move to our next paper, which is the listening part.
Thank you, Nisa. All right, let's have a look at the last paper that's offered starting 2021, which is the listening paper 119/4. Okay, now, the listening paper has 30 questions. Each question carries 1 mark. There are 4 parts to the paper, and the paper lasts for around 40 minutes. Okay, each listening text will be heard twice. Okay, it means it's going to be played to you 2 times.
Okay.
All right, and you will also hear in this paper a variety of voices, styles of delivery, and accents. Okay, because we aim to reflect the local as well as international backgrounds in our paper. All right. Like the rest of the paper, listening paper is actually focusing on B1 and B2 levels of the CFR. All right. OMR form. This is where you're going to put your answers in. Okay, as you can see here. Right. You should write your answers. When we play the audio in the exam hall, you should write your answers on the exact question paper. And then after that, you're given 6 minutes to transfer your answers onto the OMR form here.
Oh, so that's the 6 minutes I use for the transfer time. Okay.
Yes. Okay. If you see here, you see this is actually custom made. You know, this is actually new. This type of OMR is new. This is specially created. You know, to fit the new format for listening paper.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
This is my first time seeing it too.
Yes.
Okay.
Next, part 1. Okay, part 1, there are 7 3-option multiple choice questions, and each will correspond to 1 audio text, which means to say, if we have 7 questions, you will hear 7 short audios. Okay, you have to listen to the short extracts, and then choose from one of the options to answer the question.
Okay.
All right. Next one, I will show you the sample question for part 1. Okay, listen carefully and try to answer. Okay? Let's take a listen.
You hear a girl talking about watching movies.
I usually enjoy watching my favorite movies and cartoons on weekends. Action movies are good, but I'm not that keen if there's too much violence. I wouldn't waste any time on horror movies either. I'll have trouble sleeping after watching them. I guess I enjoy watching fantasy the most, where there's magical kingdoms and dragons. As for romance, well, I don't really enjoy that.
Okay, did you get the answer, Nisa?
I think I get the answer.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, it's okay. The answer is C.
C. Oh,
All
I
right.
actually jot down my answer is C.
Oh, lovely.
This is the proof. This
well
is the
done,
proof.
Nisa. You see why? Why is it C? Because she mentioned just now that she likes fantasy movies, right? Which we can assume let her use her imagination. Okay, right. Next one.
Next one.
Moving on quickly to part 2. In part 2, this you will see 8 questions on longer monologue. All right. And you have to, what we are testing here are to see your ability to understand the main ideas and specific information, whether or not you are able to recognize attitudes or opinions of the text, understand independently longer of more complex narratives, and also if you're able to guess the meaning of unfamiliar words. All right. Let's have a look at the sample question for part 2.
Okay.
All right. I have to tell you here though, the full task will have 8 items in total.
Okay.
All right. But you're just seeing 1 question here. All right. So let's listen to an extract from the sample 2 task. And please also bear in mind that the main difference between part 1 and part 2 is that all 8 questions in part 2 are related to just one long text.
Oh.
Okay? Let's listen.
Okay.
Thing is everything when you ride a skateboard. You have to learn how to bend your knees properly and move your weight around the deck. I remember the first time I saw a pro skateboarder. He came to our new skate park and put on a demo. When I saw him zoom up and down the ramp, I knew I wanted to do that too. I watched as he got ready to do a trick, and when it worked out, I could see the pleasure spread across his face. We all cheered, including the parents and the little kids, but I think I cheered the loudest. When it was over, he threw things to us: caps, t-shirts, wheels, shoes, and even a skateboard with his name on it. I caught a t-shirt and I wear it nearly every day. It's my lucky shirt.
We can hear some emotions in the audio.
Okay, did you get the answer for this one?
I think the answer is C, watching a skateboarder showing some of his skills, because he mentioned about the tricks that he watched the skateboarder did.
Very good, Nisa. The answer is actually C. Because Roy says, when I saw him zoom up and down,
Yes.
I knew I wanted to do the same. So that's what he wants to do. All right, now before we move to the next slide, let's just think about what is testing here. What do you think that we are trying to test here?
I think, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Alawiah.
All right. Actually, what I'm trying to say here is that, like most of our items, our questions in listening paper, we are mostly trying to test the student's ability to identify main ideas or specific detail. All right?
All
okay,
right.
now next one. Part 3. Part 3, you will hear 5 short monologues, and you have to match one option from a list of 7 sentences with each monologue. Okay, and I will show you the sample question here.
Okay.
Actually, it's sample questions because we have, as I mentioned just now, we have 7 situations, and you have to match the 5 speakers to what is said here. All right? Now, let's hear to the audio. Let's hear the audio for speaker first, and then if you can try to think about what is the testing focus for this question, okay? Are you ready?
Okay, I'm
All
ready.
Speaker 1.
Before I buy something, I look at the advantages and disadvantages of buying it. I ask myself why I need it, where I'll put it, and what it's for. If I can't give definite answers to these questions, I may want it, but will probably decide I don't need it.
All right, so
Okay.
what's the answer?
I think the answer is ask yourself if an item is really necessary.
You got it right, Nisa. Well done. Okay, let's move to the final part of the listening paper, which is part 4. Okay, part 4 requires you to listen to a dialogue or an interview, really, and complete a summary text which has 10 gaps in it or 10 blanks in it. All right, what you need to do is to actually write down the correct word that you hear from the audio. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the sample question first, and then I explain further.
All right.
Now, here's an extract from a sample part 4 task about a student exchange program. In this extract, you can see only 4 blanks or 4 gaps. But in total, you actually have 10 gaps to do.
Oh,
all right?
okay.
So, let's hear the audio first, shall we?
So Aslan, you've just returned from an exchange program in Italy. How was it?
It was amazing. It was one of the greatest trips of my life.
How did you know about this program?
It all started when my teacher announced that there would be a student exchange program. We could choose to go either to Italy or France. In the past, I had always ignored these programs, but for some reason, this year, it caught my attention.
So, did you apply straight away?
I think my biggest concern was that I had a limited budget, but I didn't let that stop me. I went ahead with the application and it was successful. My parents were a bit worried about how I would handle life away from home. Of course, I'd never traveled that far before, so I had to buy a new suitcase.
Okay. Let me just show you what the answer is. As you can see, the word budget fits nicely in Gap 21.
Yes.
Yes. Remember, it's important that you need to use just one word as your answer. And then please do not invent your own word in there. Okay, don't use different words or don't invent any synonyms. Okay, you need to write down the answers based on what you hear. Okay. I think that's all from us. We hope that this has been a very useful session for all of you in helping you to understand our new format better.
Okay, thank you so much, Puan Alawiah. We will be back with both Puan Alawiah and Encik Naim after this. Let's take a break. I'll see you guys after this in Sukses SPM 2021, Didik TV, KPM.
Didik TV KPM.
Welcome back to Sukses SPM 2021 on Didik TV KPM. You're still with me, Nisa. We have Encik Naim and Puan Alawiah, both pegawai Lembaga Peperiksaan Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. So earlier, Encik Naim explained to us in details regarding the reading and writing parts, and Puan Alawiah has walked us through the speaking and listening part. So I have questions. I've been saving these questions from the moment we start the show. Okay, number one for Encik Naim. I actually wonder, for reading paper, why are some of the multiple choice stars use 3 options and some with 4 options?
Okay, actually, it is something which is a feature of B1 level. You know, having 3 option questions on a practical level is just more effective because it's good to have one key or the answer plus 2 good distractors. But 4 option items, on the other hand, do not work any more effectively than the 3 option unless it is at a much higher level, which is, you know, B2 and above, where you can find more complex meaning and which we can find actually in the later stages in the reading paper.
Okay, thank you so much, Encik Naim. Puan Alawiah, why, in the speaking test, why is it important to time the students? I think it will make them a little bit nervous. Oh, we have like 1 minute to answer this, like that.
Despite that though, actually by having a timer or stopwatch, the interlocutors are actually helping the candidates or the pupils to keep track of their time. Because as what they need to worry really is to explain or to give the answers. It's the job of the interlocutor to actually time them. Okay, so we hope that they will not have to worry about the timing and keep on talking.
Yes,
exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, Puan Alawiah. I need to ask this. Do you have any tips or any wishes to our fellow student SPM 2021 candidates? Encik Naim?
Yeah, I think what I can say is knowledge is of no value, you know, unless you try to start practicing it every day and every time.
Okay, Puan Alawiah?
Not really a tip, but really actually in order for you to get the right and correct information about the format that's introduced, I think you should always check out our website. Okay? Do check out Lembaga Peperiksaan website from time to time.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Encik Naim and Puan Alawiah, for being with us today. I am so excited for our fellow SPM 2021 candidates. I hope you guys will understand a little bit more and in a deeper details of what the new format is all about. I believe you guys can answer this, and if you need to understand a little bit more about what Encik Naim and Puan Alawiah has explained to us today, you can rewatch this episode on Didik TV KPM YouTube channel. Keep watching Didik TV KPM. I wish you guys all the best and good luck for SPM 2021. I'll see you guys very, very soon on Didik TV KPM. My name is Nisa K. Assalamualaikum. Bye.